Powder Gulch Express is a 4-person chairlift designed and built by Leitner Poma that operates at Silver Star Mountain Resort in British Columbia. It is a high-speed detachable lift, meaning that the chair detaches from the main drive cable and slows to 20% of the main line speed through each of the terminals, making the ride quicker and the loading and unloading experience much easier. The lift stretches 6,982 feet and covers 1,841 feet of vertical. Powder Gulch Express was constructed in 2002, replacing a similar detachable quad known as Putnam Creek Express that covered the same route, built by Lift Engineering, also known as Yan. Lift Engineering is known for their faulty cable grip mechanisms on detachable lifts that eventually brought the company to bankruptcy. More on that is forthcoming, but I thought it deserved its own video. Silver Star attempted to retrofit the faulty lifts, but ultimately opted to completely replace it with Powder Gulch Express. Putnam Creek Express covered the same route, but had a mid-station where the top of Powder Gulch is today, and the lift extended to where the top of the T-bar is today. This option was chosen by Silver Star during construction, as a mid-station on a detachable lift is very expensive, and it was far cheaper to install a single-stage lift that goes to just above the breakover of the majority of the runs and a T-bar to provide access to the village without having to ski down to Comet and ride back up to the summit. The downside of this decision is that the lift no longer provides access to some of the back bowl runs like Where's Bob, Here's Joe, The Rush, and Kirkenheimer. Silver Star's master plan does call for an additional high-speed quad that travels from the bottom of Where's Bob to the top of the T-bar, but there's no time frame on that yet. Powder Gulch Express has 109 chairs suspended from a haul cable that traverses 26 towers. The top terminal houses the 700 horsepower drive motor, which is preferred as it is slightly more energy efficient to drive a lift from the top station. Powder Gulch has a maximum line speed of 1,000 feet per minute, and it definitely feels faster than its sister lift, Comet Express, also found at Silver Star. The lift uses a stacked Omega terminal at the top as a result of the drive motor, and a lower profile Omega terminal at the bottom. Powder Gulch uses Leitner Poma's Omega T grip and their Omega carrier, which is another name for the chair. As each chair leaves the terminal, the spring force within the grip is measured to ensure that it is working properly and won't slip on the line. The lift comes to a stop if the grip is not measured to be within specification. The lift queue for Powder Gulch allows entry from either side. The two sides merge and then a gate opens in time with each chair entering the loading zone to allow 4 skiers or snowboarders through. The entirety of the lift line ascends along Caliper Ridge. After leaving the bottom terminal, the lift immediately ascends a short, steep incline until it levels out between towers 3 and 4. As the lift passes Tower 6, the double black diamond runs known as the head walls can be seen to the left. Tower 7 is the first compression sheave assembly. This is used when the geometry of the haul cable is such that there won't be sufficient downforce to keep the cable on its sheave in all scenarios. Towers 8 and 9 begin the steepest ascent of the lift, and both use compression assemblies as well. Tower 10 is within the steepest part of the lift, as are towers 11 and 12. Around Tower 12, riders pass over the point where Normania and Caliper Ridge diverge, and the elevation begins to provide great views behind and around the riders. At Tower 13, the lift begins to crest the initial breakover, where it will again flatten out for a little while. One of my favorite runs, Gaobunga, can be seen off to the right, and towers 14, 15, and 16 round out the initial breakover into the middle flat stretch of Powder Gulch. Towers 21 and 22 again use compression assemblies as a result of Powder Gulch making its final significant climb, and as the lift crests the final breakover at Tower 23, Paradise Camp comes into view. Paradise is a great place to warm up by the wood stove and get a drink or something to eat. Tower 24 ends the final breakover, and the lift continues mostly flat past towers 25 and 26 into the top terminal of Powder Gulch. From the top of the lift, riders can choose to go straight to Home Run T, which leads back to the main village. They can go left to Aunt Gladys runs or right to runs off of 25 North. In my opinion, these runs are some of the best on the mountain, And Powder Gulch really does provide terrain for everyone. All right, so now is the time to give Powder Gulch a lift score. I'll be using 5 categories. They are queue and loading, ride quality, views, terrain, and finally, wow factor. For queue and loading, Powder Gulch scores a 6 out of 10. The line is easy to enter from either side, and lines don't usually get too long back here, but the automatic gates to meter skiers and riders can get annoying, and if there isn't an employee directing traffic, chairs often go up with 2 or 3 riders, even when there's a moderate line below. For ride quality, the lift score is an 8 out of 10. The lift is really fast, like I said, and the seats are comfortable. There's nothing to go above and beyond, though, such as the bubbles that some lifts feature, and the area can get cold, and it's a long lift ride, so it gets an 8 out of 10. For views, Powder Gulch scores a 6 out of 10. The views are nice and certainly appreciated, but nothing is seriously stunning, and the surrounding mountains are dotted with clear cut. For terrain, Powder Gulch scores a 7 out of 10. There are great steeps like Freefall and Cowabunga, long cruising ridges like Sunny Ridge and Gypsy Queen, and even Aunt Gladys, which is an easy green for anyone to get down. But the steeps, while there, they are short, and Powder Gulch does lack the above treeline alpine that some areas feature. So for that reason, it's a 7 out of 10. And finally, while Powder Gulch is a great lift, it doesn't have much of a wow factor. Still, it's one of the best places to ski on the mountain, and so for wow factor, it scores a 3 out of 10. Add it up, and Powder Gulch scores a 37 out of 50, which is respectable, given that it's the first lift I have reviewed. Thank you for watching. Please provide feedback or criticism as you see fit, and do suggest other lifts that you would be interested in seeing a video about.